Hey, how are you doing? I hope everybody's doing well. I know this difficult time right now, everybody's locked up, and I'm hoping that you're staying safe. We all have to follow the safest precautions for you and your family, so I hope you're following those. This brings us to the reason that we're doing these videos. A lot of the instructors in the Chuck Norris system have been trying to help each other, provide more information to you guys to keep you motivated. It's difficult training at home. It's hard to stay motivated. We're hoping by giving different instructors, it'll help you get a bigger insight and see what you're a part of, even when you're just locked up at home for this little bit of time. Originally, what I'll be teaching is what I was going to be teaching at the convention this year. It's being rescheduled because of our situation in our country and in our world. So with that, the video that we sent out is a exercise kata, and we're going to be breaking that down into pieces to what it really is. The kata is not the most important part. It's the self-defense combinations that are in the kata. So we're going to do them first and then use the kata just to help us remember all the different self-defense combinations. It's a situation where you'll be defending from the ground, working on a couple predicaments you might be in there, getting up to your feet, the person attacking you, you controlling them, and then the final one is a gun attack to your face. With that said, let's get started. Okay, I just want to touch base a little bit more on the rescheduling of this year's convention, ITC. It's rescheduled till next year, but we will be doing a cool virtual one that everybody can take advantage of, and we got a few different people doing seminars for that. I'll be doing a whole different one for that, another 30-minute seminar that you can be a part of on that ITC virtual, with more information coming out on that real soon. So what I'm going to be doing first is covering the first moves of the kata, the exercise kata. It involves a person being on top of you, on top of your chest, which is often referred to as a person's being in the mount on you. But before I get into that, I want to go through a couple of little exercises that you should be able to use to make you stronger, to be able to do the moves more effectively. The first one is making sure that you know, and this is on your first degree black belt test as well, how to do a shoulder walk, where you're going to be learning to move with your shoulders as quickly as you can, moving up the direction that your head is at. So you're going upward on the floor. You use your shoulders to crawl and your legs to push, and you climb real fast. As an exercise, you could do this across a room, a few feet, or all the way across a good ways. Another important exercise I think people should get involved with is a lot of core exercises for your hips and back and stomach, and just a regular sit-up. But I like sit-ups that would make you shoot your arms forward as if you're shooting yourself up into someone. Oftentimes a person that could be on the top of you might be striking down, and you don't want to necessarily wait for them. You want to shoot up to them and catch that arm coming down and bring it down with you. So sit-ups involve you to shoot forward through a series of exercises of this nature, where you spring off the floor, a set of 20 of those, and then one more where you work on going the other direction, a hip raise, where you use your hips to get stronger, coming up, popping off the floor. Sometimes you can put those two together, hip raise, arm raise, hip raise, arm raise, hip raise, arm raise, and then a shoulder walk. So now, after you've done a few warm-ups of that nature and twisting motions to get yourself warmed up, we're going to work on the situation you're in. Now, we're going to practice this as if nobody has a partner to practice with. I know some of you might have a brother or a sister or a friend or a family member at home that you can practice with, but I think that's great, but I think most of us don't. And so one of the things we're going to have to capitalize off of is one of the skills a martial artist has, is his ability to visualize. He has to see the situation, he has to believe he's in the situation, he has to respond as if he's in that situation. So the strength of your mind is your most powerful weapon. That goes for everything. It's your attitude and the repetition of seeing yourself overcoming every obstacle. And this obstacle is just us being by ourselves, trained as if we're with somebody attacking us. I need you to imagine that you're on your back and you're starting from the worst situation. They're not just on your body, but they actually have their knees underneath your elbows, which is the worst place to get caught at in a mount. Because one of the things you're going to try to do is break their balance so that you can catch an arm. When they're up this high, your hips don't have the power to knock him forward necessarily. So he's in his power position where he can strike down at you. He's way up here doing different types of hits or taking advantage of different types of reaches that you might try to do to push you off so he can capture a limb and do some sort of leveraging on your arms and your body and your neck. So you have to be very careful, and we need to get him out of this power position. That's where that little exercise earlier of the shoulder walk is really important, of going out. Now, one of the things we can do in that we're doing self-defense and not sport is strike more. And one of the strikes that could help you is just a hard strike into their groin area. Now, if they're pounding down, one of the things you'll have to do is cover up your shield. We have helmets, just like you would do when you're standing. If someone's doing wild swings at you, where you helmet through here, or your shield through here, in different positions. All these are important. And you would use this to cover up your face and use the tips of your elbows to strike into their hands to try to do damage if they start pounding. Also, don't reach out, because that's when they grab an arm. And now they have control of you. So you keep things in tight. From this down position, you're going to also, from the strike to the groin, I need you to drive your elbows into their knees, into their thighs that are right here. And start working your way up so you can get these elbows down and their knees down. And you're in your here. So now we're going to be here in position. Now we got them down into our chest, and now our leverage of our body can break their balance, and you have an opportunity to grab one of their arms. Now, I'll turn this way. In this position, you want to be preparing yourself for trapping this one left side. If you're right-handed, that's fine. Whatever side works best, most of us work this side here first. So we're going to use their position of their legs. Their knees are here. Your feet are on the inside. You're going to need to put one foot on the outside to keep this from going out. We don't want them to be able to snap that leg out or to snap this arm out and stop their ability to get flipped over. So you're going to put one leg over. One leg over their leg, trap that ankle in. Now from this position, you're going to bump to shoot them forward to get their hands to go down to the ground. The moment that hand goes on the ground, this one's going to shoot over and catch that arm and hook. Now the way we hook, the way I teach that hook, is very similar to the way we do it when we're standing. And we might crash, and we're going to come over, and we're going to catch that arm. Let me get a noodle real quick. So this arm's here, we're going to go over the top, and we're going to run around, and we're going to grab as much as we can above the elbow. Through here. This keeps from the arm from being able to pull out. If you grab below the elbow, they can slip out. When we're in this standing position, it's very easy for that arm to slip loose. If you get above the elbow, now it's this hinge from the shoulder to the elbow gets stopped compared to when it's straight and they can pull from their shoulder. And this stops that hinge from going back. So we want to try to do as much as possible the same thing here so they can't pull it out and re-brace that arm out. So from this position, it goes here and it gets caught into this. So we got this whole side of that body trapped in. And you can't move out. So we bump and we secure. This arm's going to go across the waist, and now we're going to drive. We're going to drive and roll to the shoulder, make this hip, make this arm go across to the 45. And we're going to flip them over, and we're going to ride right onto the top, to this base position. The base position is to drop your butt back and move away from their body and brace them down. Elbows inside the thighs, as much as possible. Hands on the belt or their stomach and their chest. So when they try to come up to you, to try to grab you and pull you down and get you into a clinch, you can stop them from trying to reach forward. The hands on the knees makes you sensitive to if they try to shrimp. You can either move it over or block it off. From that position, you can do more strikes to their body. Where you're here, and you have control. What we're going to do from this position is shoot one leg back, pop to one knee, snap up, hands out, stomp down, and move back. So all together, we're here. They're up high on us, snap down, trap foot, trap arm, bump over, drop to our knees, control, shoot back, raise up, stomp down, move away. All right, so that's the exercise on the floor. And there's a lot of detail involved with that. There's extra videos to give more information, how to do a proper base off that in the guard. You're going to work on getting out from under a mount, and then you can work on escaping a guard. Get follow-up information on those things. There's a lot of what-ifs that are involved. Practice if the what-ifs are happening to you on the ground. Practice when you get the opportunity to get back into the school with a partner that's going to challenge you so that you expand what you have to know how to do. If he moves up, if he moves down, if he braces wide, he braces short. If he's bigger than you, shorter than you, stronger than you.
If you slip, if you trip over your own feet.
If there's a mistake of opportunity for you, there's a mistake and opportunity for him, how do you correct that? That's why it's so important to practice and adapt to different situations within that same predicament. And that only can be done with a lot of practice with you and different people, not just the same one. So in your mind, visualize what could happen, where you need to go to adjust. There's a lot of information Mr. Dunn puts out on the different exact things that could happen. Whole half-hour series on just one little position from the mount, on the guard. But this is just an exercise to remind you to learn it. All these little elements are on your black belt test. The shoulder walk, how to get out from underneath a mount, how to escape a guard, what to do when a person shrimps on you when you're in your guard, how do you take a side guard position with him, how do you get up on your feet. We're also on the next episode of this, we're going to work on the person that's on the ground, how he needs to get up and attack you. We're going to follow up with the next attack. What I'd like to do now is take that part that we just finished practicing on the floor and put it into the kata. My beliefs is that kata wasn't supposed to teach you self-defense. It was to help you remember to practice the self-defense. If you look at a kata and not know it, and you try to learn what is going on in there, oftentimes you're doing the wrong thing. You're seeing the wrong type of situation. You're seeing the wrong type of self-defense. You're seeing the wrong type of an attack and positioning. But when you learn the self-defense first, the kata will remind you how to practice it for real. It's just a reminder of what to do with real partners. It later became art form in itself, and exact positionings and grading of how you do something in the air against elements. They're not even there, but you have to imagine they are. I need you to think of what you're really doing that we just finished practicing while we're up in these standing positions. So in the beginning of the kata, you'll start from a ready stance, and you'll see this position that I remember it being done in another kata called Rohai. Now, I'm not saying Rohai does this, but I took my floor situation and copied that kata. The kata is going to be very traditional, but as reminders of how you're going to need to do it for real and how flexible it needs to be. The kata is not to be done literally. You can't make this literally work. It reminds you the situation and how you have to adapt. So the more kata you know, the more adaptations you have to different situations in that same predicament. So let's get into the kata itself, or I don't even like to call it a kata as much as an exercise kata. All right, so it's nothing that you have to memorize. It's not on anybody's test. It was just an example of how kata was developed. So we take what we did on the floor and put it into a standing position. So I'll go through the first little part of it, and then we'll break it down so you can learn how to do it. So from the ready stance. All right, we'll do it again, and my daughter's helping me video today. She'll be videoing this time from the back of me. Alright, so let's go through these pieces. If you remember when you were on the ground, we did a move where we popped him up to make him shoot his hands forward. And we had to shoot our arm over in between his arms, and what we tell the kids, shark bite. Trap that arm. It's a term that the Gracies use in their children's program, which works great for everybody. This arm looking like a big bite where you trap underneath yours and you trap their arm here. Well, you want to shoot up and you're trapping as you bring it down, and you're coming down and you're going to be turning them. This is where you already braced your foot. You bumped them up with your hips. This is the knee coming up. So this is the bump where they're going over you, shooting your arms to catch, and then throwing them over. Once you hear we were in this V position on the floor, basing out, moving away from them, you want to keep your posture up. Don't lean up. And we use our elbows to control him. And we push down on the knees. Then we do a front stomp kick. This is a kick like a front kick, but it's done with the heel going down. So from the beginning, one hand going high, one going low. This could be protecting here, pushing the knee down, holding the hip. This one coming up. And this is going to the hip as you trap so that you can lift and throw. So we punch to illustrate that. Step over. Move in. Bring the elbows in. Slow push down. Drop back into your forward stance, keeping posture. Front stomp kick. And then we stop right there. So this is today's lesson. This is the first part of that kata. If you watch the whole video, you can see there's even more and more situations. The beauty of this is it could be one person. When you later get a partner and you practice it on the ground, it could be that one person attacking you from one thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing. He may not give up. He doesn't want to give up. And he gets frustrated and he goes to a weapon on the end. Or it could be in two people. You take him down and another one comes in. It could be as many as even 3 people attacking you, one right after the other. So it's as alive as you make it. So hopefully you enjoy this and it gives you something to train on and expand your learning on not just the self-defense that's involved in our Chuck Norris system, but something about our history of how Kata is developed, and still enjoy traditional karate tied together with realistic self-defense. Train hard, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.